And a little later, Cloud, who arrived at Byron's residence, politely handed him the report that his niece had sent him. Byron, who had been silently reading the document he had been handed, shouted in disbelief. "What the hell is this? Does that woman want to see me?" "Yes, my lord. I heard that she is very discouraged." As Cloud calmly responded, Byron roughly wiped his free hand across his face, furious that things weren't going well. "She is a really useless woman. She's as stupid as her father. Otherwise, you wouldn't be complaining about killing a newborn. A recent report said that a child who normally did not get sick could not endure forced walking and suffered body pains. It seemed that it was not a physical problem, but a mental one. I wonder if he's so weak-hearted that he's going to kill his own father. Hey? Do you want to see me? Does it make sense?" Byron laughed at the completely unexpected situation. He raised her to be a fool who only knew how to use her to get revenge, and now this was the side effect. "I was very depressed because I missed him." Byron, who blamed himself for being so soft on his enemy's daughter, soon changed his mind and directed his anger at Laura. "Oh, this is driving me crazy. What the hell is your niece doing? Did you let this happen to him? You should have been there to comfort her. This is something that neither I nor my lord could have foreseen. I bet that girl didn't know something like that would happen." Cloud, who had already anticipated Byron's reaction, defended Laura with a calm expression. Byron, who was about to get angry and ask him if he was defending his niece in this situation, only blushed and snorted because what he said was not wrong. "What will you do, my lord?" "What can I do? I can't go see that girl while they're chasing me like this. And I can't even ask him to come. He will come for me." Byron shrugged at Cloud's question, suggesting it wasn't worth talking about. "If there is a way, would you be willing to meet that girl? I guess there is no other. If that girl is going to be able to fulfill her role as a sharp sword again, it is the only way," Byron responded in an annoyed voice. "Then, my lord, why don't we find a way to communicate remotely?" Cloud did not waste the opportunity and expressed his opinion. She didn't know what Isla's intentions were, but if she wanted to talk to Byron, she wanted to help her in some way. Distance conversation? Is it possible? Byron frowned and asked in disbelief. It seemed like a tall tale, like trying to catch a cloud in the sky. "Yes, didn't a member of the Magic Council of the Timor Republic send you a bunch of new magical tools? Among them was a long-distance communication device." "Oh, really? He tried really hard to get into the hierarchy, but then he got kicked off the council, so I lost interest." Byron heard that he had been caught leaking secrets of the Timor Republic to the outside world. Luckily, her complicity with him went unnoticed, so she suffered no harm. "If I could pass that magic tool to my niece, couldn't we talk to her too? I think it's a good idea. So, let's proceed. Mailing it is too dangerous, so deliver it in person. And don't forget to be careful, because someone could come back with someone behind them." Byron nodded approvingly, apparently thanking Cloud for his suggestion. If he had to talk to Isla anyway, it would be easier to get it over with as soon as possible. "Do you want to take a vacation?" At Laura's words, Butler Lester asked with a puzzled expression. Laura had always stayed at the mansion, even on vacation. At first, he thought she was a sincere girl, but now that he thought about it, after hearing the story of her identity from Roderick and Ophelia, it was clear that it was a ploy to get information out of him. "Yes, Butler. I heard my mother is sick." Laura lied with a calm expression. Even Lester, who knew she was a spy, would be confused as to whether it was true or not. "If you had heard it without knowing anything, wouldn't you have believed her without a doubt?" Lester felt resentful of his deception, but nodded as if nothing had happened at the master and his wife's order to remain silent. "Yes, I understand the situation. I'll talk to the owner first." "Yes, Butler. Please speak for me. Lester dismissed Laura with a polite request and went straight to find Ophelia. She didn't know what Laura's ulterior motives were for taking a vacation, but if she was up to something, she needed to find out and come up with a plan. Laura, does that girl want to go on vacation? Yes, ma'am. Ophelia drummed her fingers on the table, absorbed in her thoughts. Like Lester, she naturally didn't believe her mother's excuse for being sick. I heard a hawk crashed into your bedroom window this morning. Is it because of that? Although Ophelia was unable to find out the details of what was secretly exchanged, it was evident that she had been given some kind of instruction. Yes, I'll give him a vacation. Ophelia nodded in response. She wasn't sure how things would play out, but she knew it was about helping Isla. A few days ago, Isla had told Laura that she was looking for a way to talk to Byron directly, so she should pretend she didn't know what Laura was up to. Yes, ma'am. I'll let you know. After Lester greeted her politely and left, Ophelia hurried to her husband's office. He had no intention of interfering in his daughter's operation, but he couldn't let Laura waste the opportunity to contact them. I was thinking about secretly connecting someone with Laura and having them follow her. Good idea, Ophelia. Roderick nodded after hearing her story. Of course, I can't interfere with Isla's operation, so please be sure to tell them to prioritize avoiding detection. If it looks like they might be discovered, simply stop following them. Ophelia said in a firm voice that although parents could not actively support their daughter's wishes, they should not become obstacles. Yes, I will. Roderick nodded with a slight smile, as he also shared his wife's feelings. No matter what happened, the most important thing for them right now was to keep Isla safe and support her wishes. Laura, who left the Duke's residence under the pretext of vacation, immediately rented a carriage and left the capital, Venator. She was completely unaware that someone was following her from the Duke's residence. Although, in his own way, he was wary of his surroundings, it was because his opponent was an expert at moving without making a sound. The informant, who had been following the carriage in hopes of discovering the hideout of Laura's boss, Byron, was disappointed to see that the carriage was headed to a city near the capital, not a place with few people. Surely the infamous traitor Byron would not hide in a place like this. Still, if we follow the person who contacted that girl, we could find her hiding place. The informant swallowed hard and cautiously followed Laura as she exited the carriage. Even that wasn't easy, as Laura looked back with a nervous expression. That's an inn. Laura, distrustful of her surroundings, arrived at a rundown inn. The first floor also seemed to serve as a bar, and everyone who came and went was a red-faced drunk. The sun had already set while they were moving, so it seemed like they were planning to rest, but he thought it might be a surprise, so he followed Laura into the inn. Luckily, the room was full of drunk guests. The informant nonchalantly ordered a beer and sat among the drunks, observing Laura's behavior. He told the innkeeper that he was really only planning to stay one night and booked a room. He didn't specify a specific room, and he didn't seem to communicate with the innkeeper in any particular way, so it seemed like they didn't know each other. He was eager to follow her, but he had to follow the Duke's orders to prioritize not getting caught, so he put down the beer with a bitter smile. It seemed like he had to stay at the inn all night and then follow Laura the next morning. But, contrary to his expectations that she would leave for her next destination in the morning, Laura had no intention of leaving the room. His heart clenched, worried that he had lost sight of her while she slept. But he had definitely not lost her, as he had seen her roll around the room several times through the open windows seeking ventilation. A whole day passed like this, and the next day, Laura remained motionless in the ramshackle inn until he returned from his night off, exchanging shifts with his colleague. Sometimes, I thought she was just leaving the room and moving around, so I followed her, but she only went down to the first floor to eat. He sighed desperately, wondering if Laura would just stay the night in their hotel room and then come back. Laura, who had been inside the entire time, finally left the inn.